విశాఖ నోవోటల్ సిఐఐ నిర్వహిస్తున్న ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ సమ్మిట్ 2024 లో పాల్గొన్న లోకేష్ పలు ఐటీ కంపెనీల ప్రతినిధులతో భేటీ అయ్యారు. ఇప్పుడు లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
Between 14 and 19 under Mr. Naidu's regime, we've done a lot of work in getting greenfield airports. Bharat did escalate a point about cargo in Visakhapatnam. Bharat, one of the leaders from here only messaged me, and I spoke to the Honorable Cabinet Minister of Civil Aviation and said it's his responsibility to get it started. He said, give me 15 days, it will be done. So we are going to get that also back up and running. See, infrastructure is not just about roads, airports. I mean, it's the way we connect with each other. You know, a road makes a lot of difference in terms of connecting one community to the other community. All of you here have the power of figuring out how cities should grow, how cities should interact, how can we create equitable distribution of wealth. As all of you know, Mr. Naidu is never governed by pressure groups. He is always governed by the interests of the people. And one example of this is the Hyderabad airport. Under the leadership, of course, of GMR Garu. Though they won their tender, and this is very interesting, I don't know how many of you know this, Hyderabad airport was the first airport of GMR Group, and they won the tender in a very competitive bid process. But Mr. Naidu refused to award it to GMR Garu. And the reason he said that you don't have the experience. I'm genuinely worried because I look at Hyderabad airport to, like how Dubai airport has transformed Dubai. Hyderabad airport has to transform Hyderabad. So after winning the bid, GMR Garu had to work doubly hard to win the hearts of Mr. Naidu. And look at Hyderabad airport today. I mean, they are set for the next 60, 70 years. They don't need to look at next acre of land. And that's the kind of vision with which, your government is working here in the state of Andhra Pradesh. We see in other states where already major cities are talking about second airport, third airport. And those airports were built about the time of Hyderabad airport, and one city built it after Hyderabad airport or modernized it, if I can say. But now they're talking about second airport. So we end up spending a lot more money, and connectivity is leading to nowhere. So I would urge all of you to look at it from this perspective, where how do we bring people together, how do we take a city forward, how do we take the nation forward. I always keep saying, as a country, we end up building infrastructure for yesterday. Like I truly believe that, Bhogapuram, Visakhapatnam needed an airport good 10 years back. We're actually late. And as Bharat said, we are working on the connectivity. That was my question to Bharat. From the airport to the hotel, in the hotel, almost 15 minutes I was talking purely about connectivity. Because I know GMR will deliver on the airport. We have to connect it. And we're really committed to that. And it's important for all of us who are seated here to think about what is the infrastructure that India needs tomorrow and build it today. Because as all of you know, the cost of projects are going to double every 4 or 5 years. There's a debate about Visakhapatnam Metro, and I clearly stated that we have to build it today and not 5 years from now, because the cost is only going to double. It's as simple as that. So it's very important that as a nation, and all the thought leaders here lead this discussion and definitely work on building infrastructure for tomorrow and not for today or yesterday. Saying that, Visakhapatnam is going to be our economic capital. We are working on a project to create $1 trillion economy in one greater Visakhapatnam region. As a state, as a government, as our leader is very committed to Visakhapatnam and its growth plan. You will see a lot of money coming into the infrastructure here. I empathize with the entire freight corridor that we need to build. Because I did a Padayatra, I walked through Visakhapatnam, and I still remember this was the only city where my collar got black at the end of the day. And I remember thinking to Bharat about this very closely. So we need a dedicated freight corridor, and that's something that we're committed to and working on here in Visakhapatnam. The Vizag-Chennai industrial corridor is already up and running. A lot of work was done in the previous third term of Mr. Naidu as Chief Minister. We intend to finish it, attract investments to the nodes, and create an economic transformation here in Visakhapatnam. Ease of doing business is of the past. What Mr. Naidu is now talking about is speed of doing business, cost of doing business. So I'll give you an example of this. Yesterday I was meeting a company, because I can't name them yet, about an investment in Andhra Pradesh. We're talking about the incentives. I had the power to challenge them, saying that Andhra will be your lowest cost of energy in 2 years. That's because we have a fantastic policy in terms of renewable energy and the pump storage policy. And we can give the lowest cost of energy here. We see that as a strategic advantage for a state to attract investments going forward. Like this, we want to come up with unique propositions that will make our state competitive and will enable all the entrepreneurs here not only to survive but thrive. That's the first part. The second part is the speed of doing business. This is something that Mr. Naidu has coined, and that's why the real-time governance minister. So, I have 3 portfolios. First is human resource development, second is IT electronics, third is real-time governance. So real-time governance is where we tie through all departments and start creating avenues to ensure that the speed of doing business and the ease at which you can do it should be truly delivered in spirit and not on paper. So I'm already talking to all the platforms, the WhatsApps of the world, Telegrams and so on and so forth, where we want to streamline the way government interacts even with entrepreneurs. Government interacts with business fraternity. Government interacts with citizens. So we're going to transform the way, and we believe it will be first of its kind in the nation, and we're going to launch it in the next 100 days. As far as IT electronics, Visakhapatnam is going to be our IT hub. We intend to make this the data center capital of the world. And AI is like the refinery. So AI will follow, and we're going to back it with green energy. So you can see how we're marrying everything together and transform Visakhapatnam. Saying that new policies are on its way, the IT policy, the GCC policy, the data center policies are being crafted, and we intend to launch them soon. Parallelly, we have revived the Economic Development Board. Economic Development Board will be the single port to call for any investor, any financier here into the state of Andhra Pradesh. It's being led by a very young IAS officer, but the entire team under him are IITians, IIM grads, and other youngsters who come out of Ivy League schools driving the entire initiative. So they will be your single point of contact. So you don't need to call me or even BC Janardhan Reddy or Bharat. They will be a single port to call. And you'll be amazed that Economic Development Board is going to be under the Chief Minister in the General Administration Department, because the work there is going to cut across multiple departments. So while I'm going and chasing data center investments, they need green power and they want to do parallel investments in that. So I need to chase the energy minister. So it's not going to be like that. The economic development will be the single port to call, because all the businesses are cutting across ministers and ministries. So we are reviving that, and we intend to deliver on the speed of doing business promise. And as Bharat said, a lot of work is going to be done in Visakhapatnam. We're really committed to this amazing city. It's unfortunate in the last 5 years we slipped a position in terms of economic activity. We were the 9th largest economic city, and we slipped 1 position, we came to 10th. One thing that Bharat didn't tell all of you, because he knows I'll hold him accountable to it, is our vision to transform Vizag to the 5th largest economic city in India. So Rajugar has a lot of catching up to do, clearly. So in terms of traffic also, we have to aim not to be number 10, but number 5.